So, see, I just first want to say sorry because my team took away a key piece of your team. You see, Darren, I'm a Giants fan. So what C lost, I gained. So welcome to Big Blue, man. It is great to have you.
Oh, thanks, man. I'm excited to be a part of it. My dad is a lifelong Giants fan too, so to be there, and I brought him up to the facility with me when I went up there and met everybody, and just seeing his reaction and everything, like that's like amazing to me because I watched all the games when I was a kid with him. I remember, man, he probably killed me for sharing this, but the Giants played the Ravens in the Super Bowl in like 2000. They got destroyed.
Destroyed.
My dad was painting the house. He was up on this like ladder really high up, and he was about to come down and get ready to watch the game, and he missed a rung on the ladder and fell and like broke his arm really bad and had to watch the game like in the hospital. So I remember moments like that, but just like,
oh no, that's a crazy story,
the Giants
man.
was on TV, like just countless moments of him like yelling, screaming, like just being passionate. So I'm excited to be a part of it, mainly because of that.
That's a crazy story. And two teams that you like, you about to play for the Giants, and you play for got drafted by the Ravens. So that's like crazy. That's a crazy, right? That's insane. I told Ryan, I said, I think you showing up here in New York is going to change the trajectory of the Giants. I think it's going to change Daniel Jones's career. I think it's going to change the offense. I think it's going to change everything about what the Giants have been the last couple of years. So as much as it hurts me to see you leave Vegas, I'm excited for you to come here and show out in New York.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, it'd be. I love Vegas, man. Love living here. Love being a part of the Raiders. But I'm done questioning God, man. He's always come through. He's always made a way and provided opportunities for me to continue to elevate. So I'm just going to embrace it and get excited about it.
What was your initial impressions of the organization, the Giants, that is, Darren, just going and taking your visit?
I feel like everything that people say about them being a flagship organization, being a family environment, all those things, it was just apparent from the jump. Meeting John Mara, meeting Joe, the GM, meeting Dave's, all the coaches on staff, just the people in the building, you could tell how much they get along with each other and how important a good family culture and people being supported is there. And it's just like from the jump you walk in, and it's just very refreshing to know that and to feel that. So I feel like just the reputation that they have was noticed by me on one day of being there.
That's what we like to hear. Make you feel welcome right away. How about the team itself, Darren? Because the Giants obviously exceeded expectations by leaps and bounds of everyone's wildest imaginations this past season. And you look at it and you say, okay, we know Daniel Jones is back. We know Saquon's back. Add you. A lot of defensive talent on this team. Some talent on both lines. How do you assess this Giants team you're walking into and what might be possible for you guys?
I mean, yeah, you see there's talent across the board, talent in the trenches. There's talent at skill positions. There's, I think they have like 10 picks in the draft that they could do whatever they want, whether it's move up or leverage. I don't know their strategy. I'm new here, but they could do whatever they want to add to such an already talented group, and a confident quarterback that's playing the best he's ever played, and Saquon Barkley back in his bag, and guys like Sterling Shepard. So you could go on for days about the talent that there are at so many different positions. So I'm excited to add to the mix and hopefully be a piece that helps this continue to go to another level. And for the Giants, I mean, for us, I feel like the ultimate goal is first winning the division, because I think, was it 20 something years in a row where the division winner has been different?
Yeah, so it's wild.
So it's just starting there. People are always like, man, Super Bowl this, Super Bowl, but it's just like, for me, it's like you set yourself up for things like that with the small goals, with the goals. That's like, okay, that's what gets you in. That's what gets you a home playoff game. And then you go from there and just continue to handle moments, continue to handle series and plays. I just try to keep things as simple as possible.
Man, that's dope. I think like Sterling Shepard, before he got hurt, I thought he was going to have a huge year. So having him back healthy with you and Saquon, like you said, back in his bag, I think it's just going to help. I call him Vanilla Vic. I think Vanilla Vic is going to be he's going to be the man now. I'm telling you, just with so many weapons. But I wanted to ask about the trade. Like, where were you when you found out about the trade? Did you have any clue that you were going to get traded? And like, what was your initial reaction?
So when I found out for context, I got back from my honeymoon Monday night at like 8:00. And the next morning I went to go see my physical therapist at like 10. As soon as it's wrapping up, I'm in there talking to him because he's one of my good friends too. And my phone's vibrating. Usually I'm like, I'll get it later. But then someone told me like, look at it. And it was Dave, the Raiders GM. And he called me and was like, hey man, like, just want to update you on some information. It's going to come out pretty soon, but we're trading you to the Giants. And so we talked for a few minutes and, talked about how like, wish last year could have been what, the last few games was as far as like me being out there and just being confident and having fun and stuff like that. But yeah, it wasn't a total shock because I mean, I was hearing things about me being on the block since Josh and Dave showed up. So It was kind of just a little bit of a roller coaster with that mentally during the season. So once they said that, I was like, I wasn't totally shocked, but it was like out of nowhere. And it's like, you come back and it's like, all right, me and my wife, our first night, living together. The next day, it's like, yeah, you're going as far across the country as you could possibly go.
Yeah.
And, let's go about doing that. So it was a bit of a surprise in the timing of it in that sense. And, just feeling like from what they told me of being in their plans going forward. But I mean, that's just the nature of the business. You don't take those things personally. They're trying their best to build what they think is the right thing. And I feel like they have what it takes to do that. And now I'm just focused on being a part of my new group.
But you said you had heard those, when Dave and Josh had showed up. How was that like? It's got to be hard going out during the season if you heard that you may get traded, like to play for that team. How was that going through last year?
Yeah, it took a lot of intentionality to not operate and show up out of emotion or harbor resentment, and just more so. I feel like it was just lessons from God for me to be confident in myself and to approve of myself before the people around me do, because I was always, depending on other people's approval for most of my life. And I feel like last year was a lesson in that. You hear reports here, you hear certain things about, it was Green Bay at times, it was Miami at times, you know what I'm saying? So, but, it really helped me and taught me how to focus amidst all that, if there being noise and still, even amidst that, try to build relationships with those people, build relationships with the head coach, build relationships with the GM, and, not isolate myself, not, remove myself from the social setting of the team and being a part of that, knowing that, just approaching it from a standpoint of I'm going to be a team player everywhere that I go and try to be the best teammate I can be, the best presence and have the best energy. Regardless of what other people are doing, I can control like my energy and my attitude. So just trying to focus on those things.
Listening to you, so self-aware and having such a broader awareness of other people's goals and what they're angling for or their job descriptions are, it just tells me you've clearly done a lot of work on yourself. Mm-hmm. What, Darren, I want to dive back into your honeymoon being rudely, welcomed back there. Because I love your wife. She's fantastic. Kelsey is awesome, and I broadcast WNBA games, so I've gotten to know her over the years.
Yep.
But what are kind of the pillars of that awareness that you have, Darren? What work did you do to get to that place where you're able to have a really conscientious approach just to your daily life, it seems, and being aware of what other people's priorities are as well?
I always say as much as I can, like I can't take too much credit for that. I kind of had to get forced into a position, back into a corner in my life to where I had no choice but to become self-aware. And, it started with like, substances and all that. And once, I got sober, it really just opened the door for me to begin the work of just dealing with myself as I am, how I think, how I process things emotionally. And it started from there, going to rehab, learning meditation from when I was in rehab and having the effects of that helping me to approach things from a balanced state. journaling, just word vomiting on paper as much as possible, because I feel like writing is a big part of not only my creative expression, but just expression in general. One-on-one therapy, group therapy, just being in uncomfortable environments to where I have to talk about these things, and knowing that if I don't talk about these things, I'm just going to continue to have the same habits, be frustrated, be irritable, be envious and jealous of other people. So it's just like stepping into these uncomfortable environments to where I have to speak and have to share. And, as you do that and go along and continue to make that a part of your daily life, it's just those weights start to drop off you more and more. But it was really just 12-step meetings. That's what's really had me on this path, because it just forces you to look at yourself and puts you on a spiritual path, and doing everything you can on a day-to-day basis to lean on a higher power, which is, I'm always saying God, but to other people, you just become more empathetic of other people's spiritual walks and things like that. So it's just like what works for me and allows me to go about my life on a day-to-day and just not have a perspective of self-centeredness. Cece and I were actually talking about this on my podcast yesterday, just like how easy it is to be, and then just through drinking and using, like how much you just pour gasoline on the fire that is selfishness and self-centeredness. It's just easy to be that way. But, my life has been deconstructing that and trying to be of service. That's why you see me trying to do so much with my foundation and helping other people. It's like, I enjoy doing it, but at the same time, it's like, I need those things to counteract the self-centeredness and selfishness that is in my mind, because it will be that way. That's my default if I don't do something about it.
It's a really awesome answer, Darren. And I know, since you just mentioned the foundation, Darren Waller Foundation, the mission is to equip youth to avoid and overcome addiction to drugs and alcohol and provide recovery services. And your podcast, you mentioned, is the Comeback Stories podcast, which you recorded with CC yesterday. When you think about your foundation work, what stands out most to you? What are you most proud of? What are sort of the most forefront agendas that you guys are working through right now?
Probably the thing I'm most proud of is, for context, when I went to rehab, it was offered to me freely by the NFL, and it was a life-changing experience for me. So part of me wanting to be of service was like, I want to be able to pass that gift to somebody else. And we've sent 50 people through 30-day treatment programs through the foundation. And now we've expanded upon that with, relationships I built in Vegas, to where there's there's sober living communities for them to go into for aftercare. So it's not just like the 30-day spin cycle. It's like 30 days in rehab worked for me, but that's not the norm for most people to, change their lives and can stay consistent in that change. So it's just having them to be in a sober living environment to where they can continue to, develop job skills, or, just find out how they can, have an impact on the world, no matter how big or small it may be. So being able to have those additions to it, that's the big thing, and then just continuing to think of what else can we do? Like, is it opening our own treatment centers and, putting our own programs and protocols in place. So, but yeah, I'm really most proud of being able to have those scholarships for those people and to actually meet those people. Yeah. I've met a few of them. I'll go to 12-step meetings, and there'll be young dudes in there that are like, hey man, like, thank you. Like, I'm on the Darren Waller scholarship and it's really changing my life. And it's just like, whoa, like, it's just hard to even fathom that. It's like, wow, like that it's become full circle like this. But, just trying to keep those people in mind, and as I go about serving and what I want to do.
Man, that's huge that you're thinking about people after rehab, because that was like, when I came out of rehab, that was the biggest thing I was nervous about, entering back into my environment. Obviously, our situations being the same, like we couldn't change our friend group. Like, we got teammates, you're going to be traveling, you're going to be on the plane, like all these different things. But I think some people, when they come out of rehab, need to be around other sober people and see other people doing the right thing. So if you can put them in those situations, that's amazing. Because that's the one thing that I was nervous about coming out of rehab, was like, this is crazy, but I enjoyed my 30 days of rehab and like working on myself and like having that time to myself and not worried about my phone and not worried about anything in the outside world. But then when you have to reacclimate yourself back into your family or into society, it gets a little scary. So to have those sober communities is huge.
Yeah, no, I can relate to that too, because I remember when I was leaving rehab, I was like, I don't want to leave here. Like,
right?
This has been amazing. It's safe, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, there's almost a high from that, like being able to because it's like your first time prioritizing yourself and being honest and being vulnerable, and you're seeing the change and you're feeling all the weights fall off of you. And it's like, I don't want to leave this place. And but you can't stay in that place to where you're just like, you know, everything is tailored to you. You got to go back into the world in order to leave your legacy. And it's like, I remember a coach said, you know, you don't rise to the level of the occasion, you fall to the level of your training and your habits. And so it's, you know, at the end of the day, it's like those aftercare moments, those continuing that plan, continuing that progress, continuing to get reps in your recovery or whatever it may be. It's like, that's what's going to help you in moments where you may want to go back to what you did before, but it's like you now have the foundation in place to go to those new habits that you've created. So that's the importance of allowing people to have extended time, because, you know, you can't expect people to just get it right away.
Yeah. That is such awesome perspective. And I know, Darren, you and Cece talked a lot about it on your podcast as well. So people who are listening to this conversation, make sure to check that one out. How's Kelsey handling the trade, Darren? Because I loved her tweet about Josh McDaniels. That was hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, she's just funny like that, man. Like, yeah. she jokes like that. She'll that's just her personality, and I love her for that. So I don't feel any type of way about her saying that. But she's been extremely supportive. You know, we've had moments to where, you know, to be transparent, there's times where I was like, I don't know, I feel like this might be my last season, you know, like, yeah. It's like, I don't really feel like I'm having that much fun playing, and I like doing other things a lot. And but, you know, I still feel like there's a lot left in the tank for me, and she wants me to be able to see my, you know, truest potential in the game while I still have the opportunity. And I feel like this is a you know, kind of a God moment of him saying like, no, you're not done yet. There's a lot more to be done here. And she's been really supportive of that. And she's like, we're gonna make it work. Like, I'll be in New Jersey once my season ends, and we just make the most of it. And so it's been really cool, and it's been allowing me to just take a deep breath, because it's like, man, like, I'm newly married, but now I got to move across the country and you know, go perform out there. So it's like the level of stress that can set in. So for her to be in such support of it is it's been extremely helpful.
That's amazing to have a partner that understands and can be that, you know, empathetic to what you have going on. Like, you know, like when you said, you know, like, to being transparent, this, you know, feels like could be my last year. After 2017, I wanted to retire. Like, I was done. And my wife was like, nah, you're not done. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the moment right now, you might be done. But like, to have her and have that support and have that person in my corner, it just, you know, it got me through my next 2 years. So that's amazing that you have that in Kelsey already, and you can lean on her. And I mean, it's, you know, kind of a difficult time right away in you know, first couple of weeks of the marriage.
Right. Yeah. She just adds a different perspective, and you know, can see in the blind spots or where I may be just, you know, emotionally like over something, and but she's like, nah, like we sticking with it, you know, and it's great to have somebody that's on a similar like spiritual type path that's trying to see things from that lens.
What about, you know, we had Dansby Swanson on recently. His episode will release next week for our audience, but we just recorded with him before the start of the season, and he talks about the way he's married to Mallory was Pugh, now Mallory Swanson, U.S. women's soccer star. And he talked about the way, like, them both playing sports too helps, you know, them perform, helps them within their careers, helps them manage the emotions of the ride. How about that, Darren? I mean, how helpful is it to have your spouse be someone who is an outstanding athlete herself?
Yeah, it's, you know, you just feel understood. And even when it comes to things like long days, or you're traveling to go do marketing things or business things, and it's like, she understands she's not going to be like begging you or needing you to give her like reassurance that you're thinking about her, or like, you know, like to be all over her. Like, she is confident in herself. You know, one of the things that was very attractive about her was like she didn't need me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You know, I always, you know, to make myself feel better, I would go after women that would make me feel better about myself, and that would always be there, and that, you know, I could treat it any type of way. But something that was very attractive about her was like, she doesn't need me. She's very confident in herself. And then that confidence kind of, you know, spills over to me. You know, I'm always somebody that struggled with my confidence and self-esteem. So, you know, her affirmations and the way she goes about doing her business and living her life, it really helps me to be confident in my path. And I can be, you know, tired. I can be frustrated. I can be, you know, feeling on top of the world, like all those range of emotions. And she understands, and she's, you know, with me riding through it no matter what I may be experiencing.
You know what's amazing? That's outstanding, Darren. And I'm sure I'm going to get to see plenty of Kelsey again this season. Maybe with you sitting courtside again, going nuts as she finishes an and one and comes up celebrating. We know
for sure.
We know the Aces are the favorites again to repeat. Just one thing that's amazing about your story, and I don't know if our audience knows, but how you were discovered by the Raiders, because you're a 6th-round draft pick of the Ravens, and you are warming up, as the story goes, with the practice squad. And John Gruden tells the story of him. He sees you warming up as a practice squad player with the Ravens, and he's like, whoa, I want that guy, and then signed you off of Baltimore's practice squad. Is that how it went down? Like, was it really, whoa, why is that guy in a practice squad? Let's get him in here, because then you end up having this outstanding career.
Yeah, that was literally the case, because there was, you know, I feel like I really honed in on like my work ethic being on the practice squad with the Ravens, because it was like, I mean, taxing days, the number of reps and on special teams and just on offense, taking every play against the defense. So I was really just in another zone with as far as my work ethic. And then it was before the games, we weren't playing. So it was like, all right, let's just get some more extra reps in. It was me and this other receiver named Jordan Lasley. We would go out there with RG3. He would throw to us. And that day, RG3 was throwing to us. And I was just like, oh, this is just another Sunday workout, you know. And leading up to that week, I had a great attitude about like, you know, like whenever my chance comes, like I'm not in control of it. You know, I'm controlling what I can control. But leading up to that game, that Sunday, I was like, man, it's been 10, almost 11 weeks into that season. Only 5-6 more games left. Like, man, I might not get another shot, like ever again to play. And but I just went out there that Sunday and was like, whatever, I'm just gonna get my work in. And then the next day, I was at a collision repair shop. I got my mirror knocked off of my Jeep. And so I'm just sitting there and I get a call from my agent. It was like, you need to pack your stuff. You're going to the Raiders. They claimed you on the active roster like yesterday as they were flying back to Oakland. And I was just like, wait, what? Like, I was just like in disbelief, honestly. Like they said they were watching you warm up and running around. And the tight end coach, Frank Smith, who's actually one of my good friends now, and he was a groomsman at my wedding. He was in Chicago and was trying to get the team to trade for me when he was in Chicago. And then he was like, they were like, yeah, who's this Darren Waller guy? And he was like, I was telling y'all about him. Like, I was telling you about him at the beginning of the season. But yeah, signed him. And then, you know, from there, I was there the last 6 games and, you know, got to learn from Jared Cook. He was a Pro Bowler that year, and just kind of get my reps in there and get to know the guys in that room. And then that next year I was starting, and then things just kind of took off from there.
That's amazing.
It's an amazing story, Darren, and you've built an awesome career. You're doing great stuff with the Darren Waller Foundation, and we're also so excited for your podcast as well, man, and Cece's episode on it, Comeback Stories podcast with Darren Waller. Darren, welcome to New York. Great to have you with the Giants. Sorry to your Raiders, C. And I'm sure I'll see you courtside at a W game sometime this summer.
Yes, you will. Thank you guys for having me. It's been fun.
Yes, sir. Good luck, bro. We'll see you soon.